back, friends. All right, this might actually be our first show, our first episode out of the very many we've done. We are going to go where angels fear to tread, which is right into quantum mechanics. The brilliant Thomistic philosopher, so we're on Mortimer Adler, told a brief story. So in this book here, and I think I'm going to read it because it's going to set up this conversation that occurred with a physicist. Odell and Savitskas writes, the idea that angels move instantaneously from one place to another without passing through any space or time dates back to St. Thomas Aquinas in the 13th century. Mortimer Adler, an American philosopher, and in the notes, I list where these ladies will draw from this book, explained that St. Thomas's theory of how angels move to Niels Bohr, the great 20th century quantum physicist. He was amazed. Bohr said, that's exactly the point of modern quantum theory. So a 13th century theologian discovered one of the basic principles of modern nuclear physics 700 years ago. Aquinas had deduced from philosophical principles a kind of movement that modern science induced from observation and experiment. And so, this noted physicist was reading this, and he said, and he's right, well, that really is not the exact point of modern quantum theory. Okay, that's true. And so I've been taking a little time to show how you have to kind of put writings in their context, and the broader picture. And the point that Adler was getting to, which is angelic movement, is shown by physics, but it isn't because of the atomic theory. That's not what did it. Right. It was, and it wasn't Niels Bohr, it was Albert Einstein with what he got the Nobel Prize for, which was on the photovoltaic effect. Mm-hmm. And the precision of thought. So Adler was, so this is the 1920s. At this time, he is a self-described pagan, and Niels Bohr is a self-described atheist. And it was early in Niels Bohr's career, okay, and I think this is relevant for what we are experiencing today. Scientists do not come out of the gate knowing exactly what things are about, right? They make a lot of mistakes. There was the pudding model of the atom, and all of that, and it was then later discovered, the circular orbit as we understand it, and with fixed distance from the nucleus. That's not this angelic motion that Adler's trying to get to. That's going to come from Einstein. Einstein is going to realize that, and if you ask me, I think it's a better understanding of angels when we think of them as, when we're using light as opposed to a particle of matter. To my mind, that has a little bit more sense. And so Einstein would show that light has a dual property, that of wave or of a particle, and that particle we call a photon. That photon is massless, it doesn't spin, it's pure energy, and it goes at the speed of light. So, and it also, so a wave is continuous, and so the hierarchy of being, that fittingness of having it, sometimes we can think of it as a continuousness. Right. But with, and so there's some, the different states of the angels, but they're also discreteness. And that's what the photons are. They're discrete packets of energy. and they go from point to point at the speed of light. And that almost looks like an instantaneous movement. So the movement of an angel or the resurrected body is, you know, it's like at the speed of light, but it's not omnipresent.
Yeah.
That, you know, that being is not, whether you're, you know, our blessed Lord is everywhere at all time. But, you know, when we have our resurrected bodies, it's not like we're going to have that same presence in all places, however that's defined with resurrected body.
Well, we don't lose ourselves. Our Lord never takes away that which is proper to ourselves. He just ennobles what we are, right?
That's correct. That's right. So, what do we say? Yes, it was in the first part, the Summa's first part, question 53, answer reply number 1. Aquinas will state, an angel can quit the whole place and in the same instant apply himself to the whole of another place. So there's some sort of a translation of a movement, but he's not like everywhere, right? And what we might call angels moving, perhaps another might call it a quantum leap. And that's a quanta is that transition of the photon between one state to another. So if you excite energy into that photon, it can go up or it can come down and release energy. And sometimes you can see that energy being released if it's the right frequency, such as with a laser. That energy is being released in a certain band that's visible to the eye. But sometimes you can't, that'll be like radiation or ultraviolet or heat, something like that. Depends on the frequency with the what, right, it's the wave portion of light. And that was kind of a fun little experiment, those earliest, because I had not, that was my graduate work was in lasers and the photovoltaic effect and everything. And I had put that away for many
a number of years, right?
Many years. And the physicist's mind, a good one, is much like a theologian. They want a precision with facts. And the ladies recounted the story of Mortimer accurately. Mortimer is just relaying what had happened at the luncheon.